And with us right now, we've got Helen, a gaffer from the Corning Museum of Glass. And Helen, before we go any further, what is a gaffer for students that don't know?
Yeah, a gaffer just usually refers to the person who is making the object at the time. Historically, it was referenced the senior member of the team who might be running a production team, and sometimes has connections to grandfather with that. But not all gaffers are grandfathers.
All right, so we're going to talk about how glass work is created. So explain a little bit of the difference between, because some students have seen glass blowing, possibly at different events, versus using a torch.
Yeah, the biggest difference would be the furnace. The furnace here behind me, this would be a big tank of glass in the bottom half. Holds molten glass at all times. So the gaffers would go in and just wind a little bit of glass onto the end of a hollow or solid pipe, and then you can manipulate the glass further using tools and heat and inflation. But on a torch, you don't actually have a tank of glass to work with. They just mount a small torch on a table. And so you have to buy all your glass pre-made. So we buy it in big rods or big hollow tubes. And then you can introduce sections of that tubing into the flame to create the heat. So you're not getting the entire mass of glass hot at the same time like you would in the amphitheater or in the hot shop while you're working.
All right, so I know it's probably a lengthy process, but can you give us a condensed walkthrough of the process of creating a glasswork?
Yeah, it all starts with our first gather. So gathering is both the action of pulling glass from the furnace, and then also we talked about the amount of glass on the end of an iron as being a gather. So you just need to wind a little bit of glass around the end of an iron, make sure that it's the right shape and temperature, and if you add air pressure into that blowpipe, you blow through that soft material and create a hollow object. So you're generally finishing the bottom half of an object when it's on that blowpipe by manipulating it with tools, using things like gravity. You're constantly turning the pipe because it's a liquid material. It's going to want to drip to the floor if you stop turning. So you're really looking at a lot of physics, a lot of heat transfer to make these objects come to be. Then once you get the bottom half done, you attach a second rod, what we call a punty. So it's just a small bit of glass on a solid rod, and you break it free from that original blowpipe. It flips the piece around, and then you can work on the top half.
Okay, and I know that there are a lot of colors involved in this, and we've spoken a little bit about the colors before and where they come from. And for them to be pleasing to the eye, you want them aesthetically looking nice, but why do certain colors work better together than others?
Yeah, when we're looking at using color, the biggest challenge is really in how soft or how stiff they are. And some of the softness and stiffness comes from the chemistries of the glass, and some of it comes from just being light or dark. So if you're looking at certain materials having different melting points, that might create a softer or a stiffer color. But we're looking at, say, black and white. Now, black glass is going to be made of manganese. It tends to be a really soft glass. And part of that is because it's absorbing the heat energy as it's being melted. So it'll make you really warm if you wear a dark shirt on a sunny day. So those kind of principles apply in the hot shop. Then when you look at white glass is going to reflect that heat energy. And so it's going to take a little bit more to get that to be actually hot. So if you were to put black and white stripes on a vessel and you go to inflate it, well, the black parts are going to want to move faster than the white parts. So that can be challenging to keep those temperatures in just the right balance to be able to make a piece and make those stripes look even in the end.
Oh.
So it's just really learning the different colors, how they act to heat, and being able to work faster or slower depending on how those colors react to the heat.
So that's just years of experience and trial and error, experimenting, things like that. So we've heated it up. We've talked about how hot this gets, and it's constantly in motion, and you're moving it so it doesn't drip and just fall courtesy of gravity. So we've got it heated up, and you're just about done. How do we cool it?
Yeah, and that's one of the most important things about making a glass object. You can make the most beautiful thing in the world, but if you just let it out to cool on its own, it's not going to survive that cooling process. And the reason why is most glasses have an expansion and contraction rate. As they heat and they cool, they're kind of expanding, contracting on a molecular level. So if you imagine a mug is going to have a thin sidewall and a really thick handle on it. So those things will heat, they'll stick, they'll melt. You make this beautiful mug, But if you let it out to cool naturally, the thin walls would be shrinking at a faster rate than the thick handle it's attached. So eventually they stress each other out and pop away from each other or crack. So we have to put everything that we make into a controlled environment and allow it to cool down really slowly so that the thick and thin, the big and small can all shrink at a nice even pace, and then the glass survives. So we call that the annealing process.
All right. Well, I know that you've got this other program, Blown Away, a show. So can you tell us a little bit about that and kind of where they are now?
Yeah, so Blown Away is a Netflix series. Part of this is a competition series that glassblowers compete with each other. It starts out with 10 and then dwindles down to the final 2. So Corning Museum of Glass has been able to take part in this Netflix series by supporting the final episode, the final competition between the 2 finalists. So our team goes up and helps. There's 3 of us that go up and help with that final exhibition. And then the winner is hosted here at the Corning Museum of Glass. So every year we've had an exhibition here at the museum that highlighted representing pieces from each contestant in that season. Right now we have season 4 up on display. But by the time this filming happens, actually, we'll be doing a retrospective show of Where Are They Now, including not just the winners, but also a lot of contestants for that show. And that show is going to open to the public September 20th. So well underway by the time we get this aired. So hopefully you can come and see that exhibition in person and a lot of online content.
All right. So Helen, if somebody wanted to learn more about the Corning Museum of Glass, is there a website that we can send them to?
Absolutely. At cmog.org, corningmuseumofglass.org. We also have a fantastic YouTube channel, which has thousands of hours of glass blowing, a lot from our team. There's also a lot of really interesting educational videos that are included in that YouTube channel. We have our Raquel library you can check out on our website. There's just so many resources. So hopefully, yes, reach out. Lots of things to learn and to see on our website.
Well, Helen, we certainly do appreciate the time. I know Mackenzie just had a fantastic time visiting with you guys, and some of the pieces that she brought back were just fantastic to look at and just amazing the process that you go through with all of this. So from the Corning Museum of Glass in Corning, New York, Helen, thank you very much. We'll be back with more right after this.